Today, trad wives. Trad wives on TikTok. Trad wife movement. Should every woman be a trad wife is what we're getting in today. The internet is quite astir with this topic, this hashtag, this lifestyle, this idea, this ideology, can I call it that? Of a trad wife. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. You're now listening to the No Pills Podcast, your best resource for cultivating meaningful, healthy, long-lasting, romantic relationships that bloom into strong marriages. Welcome to No Pills. Welcome to No Pills. Haha, love fully scripted. We back, gang. It's your brother, G-Man. Come on, yo man. God's man. Brother Gordon. Thank you for being here with us today. You could be anywhere else in the world, friends. But you're back at No Pills, Love Fully Scripted, and I appreciate you for that. Today, trad wives. Trad wives on TikTok. Trad wife movement. Should every woman be a trad wife is what we're getting in today. The internet is quite astir with this topic, this hashtag, this lifestyle, this idea, this ideology, can I call it that? Of a trad wife. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. We've come a long way from where we used to be, friends. The young people are getting a hold of this concept to them that appears to be a new concept. Some think we're going backwards in time. We're going backwards into the suffrage. We're going back into slavery. Women are going to be oppressed if this young generation, these Gen Zs, get a hold of the trad wife philosophy, way of being. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, who have no idea what a trad wife is, let me give you the definition. A trad wife is a new way to say a traditional housewife, homemaker. Remember, listen, I'm about to give away my age. I remember taking a home ec class as a man, as a boy. That was probably part of the agenda to make us feminine. But nevertheless, I think there are some good things that men and women both should know how to do: cook, clean, sew, etc. You know, it doesn't mean that you become a tailor, or a seamstress, but, these are good life skills: how to bake bread, how to boil water. Come on. Some of us have Uber Eats on speed dial. On speed dial. You know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to you. Some of us do nothing but feed the babies McDonald's, Mickey D's. If you didn't have a microwave, some of you would starve. Come on. If you didn't know what top ramen is, you would be dead, man. Shout out to all the Asians that are sustaining probably a good portion of the United States of America with the top ramen, with ramen in general, all eating out. In recent Western culture, typically denotes a woman who believes in and practices traditional gender roles or sex roles and marriage. She's a full-time stay-at-home wife and mother. Full-time stay-at-home wife and mother. Cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, paying bills perhaps, homeschooling, dusting. Oh, I can feel and see and sense the feminists in the back of the room just gritting their teeth. They're getting chills, goosebumps. Hair is standing up on the back of their necks. They feel like they're going to throw up in their mouths. Serving her husband and her family. Did you hear me, friend? Serving her husband and her children. That's a trad wife. The patriarchal housewife aesthetic has since spread throughout the internet, in part through social media, featuring women extolling the virtues of behaving as the ideal woman. And for some reason, the ideal woman from the 1950s, I don't know if it's a Leave It to Beaver type thing. I Love Lucy. I don't know what's going on, but this 1950 time period has stuck, and some folks ain't happy about this, man. Okay? Some folks are like, man, this is slavery. Trying to bring us back to slavery. I think that's an exaggeration, friends. I think we're kind of stretching it a little bit, okay? We're just stretching that a little bit. I think everything we just read in the definition, and as we cover the definition of a trad wife, I would simply say to the listener today, that's just a definition of a woman and a wife. That's the definition of a mother and a wife. Pardon me, not just a woman. The woman is more than this, what we mentioned there, but a mother and a wife. I mean, that is what if you're not doing those things as a mother and a wife, then what are you doing? Listen, the husband and the wife, both the mother and the father, the husband and wife, we have responsibilities within those given titles. I'm not saying it can be no overlap. I'm not saying it can be no helping out. There should be teamwork, but just in general, if a man is not called to provide and protect, come on, to fix things, to repair things, build a house, build a home, being outside, felling trees, bringing in wood. I mean, whatever he's got going on, making sure the heating and lighting bills, making sure the cars run. I mean, what is he doing? What is he doing? If your man can't do those things, what is he there for? Burglar comes in. I mean, this is, hey, you're up, Chief. It's your go. It's your go, Chief. I mean, there's nothing wrong with responsibility. So I'm just saying, as I read the trad wife, this definition, I just feel like I just read the definition of a mother and a wife. So I just want to say already to those who are in opposition to this, feminists or otherwise, are you saying you're opposed to just being a wife and a mother? And here's the funny thing about that. Let me just get on this or something. I mean, let's just talk freely here as we normally do. You know, when you reject the roles and the identity of a mother and a wife, you're left with being a hoe. Come on, let me talk to somebody. You're left with just being a woman of the night. You're left with just being an adulteress, fornicator. That's what you limit yourself to. If not, then you have the tenacity, the wherewithal, the strength, the self-discipline to be celibate. But if not, you're saying, I don't want to be a wife, I don't want to be a mother, then by default you're saying I'm going to be a woman of the night. That'll hit you later. That'll hit you later, friends. Okay? It's so interesting that this current generation of young people are now fascinated with the idea of just being a mother and a wife, which lets us know how far we've gotten away from motherhood. Come on. And being spouses. This is how far we've gotten away already. Can you believe it, friends? Gotten that far away? Oh, like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's trending. Literally, it's like, oh, the idea of being a mom, trending. The idea of actually being a wife, trending. Idea of being feminine, trending. Where have we, what in the world? What has happened to our society? All right, some trending trad wives that you're going to find online. I'm going to give you like the top five. These are like the top ranking ones, all right? Google. Shout out to Google once in a while. Trending trad wives online. Nora Smith, okay? You might have seen her. Emily Mariko. If I say these names wrong, pardon me, okay? Pardon me. Hannah Nealman, also known as, I think she goes by the, the Ballerina Farm. 4, next one, Kelly Havens, okay? And then I'll give you one more, SD Williams. If you type in trad wife online, you're going to see one of these 5 ladies, I'm sure, pop up immediately in your feed, in your search results, okay? Now, I'm going to, did some research, as always, before we got into this podcast today. I think you could realistically, you could argue that these trad wives, quote unquote, these trad wives, quote unquote, that come up in your search results, no matter if you're on YouTube, wherever you are, whatever platform, you could argue that these are really trad wife influencers. versus a real, true, and through trad wife. Now you're saying, what do you mean? And I'm not saying this for all five that I've mentioned, or for all of them that are online. This little community that has formulated. But there's a difference between getting yourself beautified, prettified, and ready for the camera. Action. Like, that's a whole ordeal. The true trad wife would argue, like, beloved, when I'm up in the wee hours of the morning trying to feed my baby, breastfeed my baby, when I'm running on one day of sleep maybe, or a few hours of sleep, my hair's not done, my teeth are not brushed, and I look like a hot mess. I am not in some type of get up. Come on, that's ready to take a picture. Okay, so there's some influencer overtones associated with these ladies. And I want to say this, the probably 4 out of the 5 that I mentioned, definitely lacking in the area of modesty. Let's talk about it. Definitely lacking in the area of modesty. So here's what's interesting. We're going to be stay-at-home moms. We're going to homeschool. We're not going to have male friends. We're not going to be seen alone with men. Great principles that we need to be practicing, male and female alike. You know what I mean? We're going to be conservative in our approach, so to say, in our thoughts, but in our actions. But yet we have form-fitting dresses on where you can see the shape and figure and body of said trad woman. Ton of makeup on, and then the breasts are bursting out of the seams, cleavage to be seen by not your husband alone, but for the whole entire world. I don't know how that makes sense to anybody. I don't know how there's not an apparent contradiction, or at least a question mark that should come. Now, listen, this is not every trad wife, professed trad wife online, but ladies, you informed fitting the husbands. I don't get this, man. What's the point if we're going to be traditional, but we're going to be out here with the boobs out for everybody to see? We're out here for the backside for everybody to see. We're out here for we're naked. You know what I mean? Or we're super form fitting. Like there's a check the silhouette, friends. Check the silhouette. Now let's understand. I know women, sometimes you're shapely. I get it. But if you're going to be out there listen, let me take you to the manual. Okay? We got to go to the manual, all right? Every vehicle has an owner's manual that's produced by the manufacturer. So it is with our love lives. So it is with our relationships. So it is with our life here on planet Earth. And we know that manual is the Bible. That manufacturer is God. In 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 9 and 10. My owner's manual says, in like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel. Modest apparel, not sensual apparel, not with the breast out and backside out apparel. Got to make it plain. With shamefacedness and sobriety. Yeah. Modesty in the face. Seriousness, behaving yourself and carrying yourself as a queen, a daughter of God, not with broidered hair and gold and pearls and costly array, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. Listen, friends, you could be making food from scratch. Good for you. Promoting godly ideals, fantastic. Uplifting traditional roles, all fabulous. But don't forget 1 Peter 3, verses 1 through 6. Let your chaste behavior be coupled with fear. Your virtuous behavior. Your behavior should not be leading men to sin. Should not be drawing men unto your physical body. Come on. Whose adorning, let it not be with the outward adorning, or of the plaiting of the hair, and of the wearing of the gold, and of the putting on of the apparel. But let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of a great price. Now, I've watched some videos, and some of these women are very meek, very, very quiet, And listen, I know we sometimes we get the truth in sections. There's revelations, there's progression in truth. But I'm just saying, this is kind of obvious. As a man, especially for your husbands, okay? And listen, let me say this. I want to be real with y'all. I want to make sure I'm just fully transparent. Listen, I was married for almost 20 years. If you listen to this, you know what I'm going to say next. Lost my wife. She was 37 years old 3 years ago. And I understand the struggles sometimes that can occur when you've been in the world and you've come into the church. And sometimes it's hard to let go of the inappropriate, sensual, quote unquote, cute apparel. Okay. And we know sex sells. We know that people are going to click, watch a video when there's a pretty face, and when there's an attractive woman, and when her form or her butt or her breast can be seen. I get it, but don't fall into the temptation, friends. You want to be a real trad wife, stay true to godly principles and godly modesty. So what are these women promoting? All right, essentially being a homemaker. Okay, I mean, essentially being a homemaker. There's some interlaced godly principles there, sometimes biblical principles you hear coming through. But, cooking from scratch, taking time to love on your children and your husband, to serve him, to be submissive, to be quiet. I mean, this is upsetting women online. Woo, upsetting, not all women. Many women are being upset by this idea. Like, they hate men, some of them. I hate him. They think we all should die. Don't know how they would continue on the race. Listen, I had a tornado warning here just the other day, okay, and I'm a man, all right? Power went out. Friends, let me tell you something. I personally, as a man, full-grown man, do not have the capacity, capability, or knowledge to go down there and get the power turned back on. I'm no longer in my country setting that I once was before I relocated for the studio, for the ministry. I'm not off the grid. I don't have my own running water. I'm not collecting rainwater. I'm not off the grid ready. So you know what? I respect and appreciate everybody, every man that's out there keeping this infrastructure running. Do you hear me? Let's humble ourselves. I'm respecting everybody that's out here keeping the infrastructure running. And I'm a man. So women, you can respect it too. Come on. You can respect it too. Come on, get off your high horse. Get off that unrealistic world you're living in. We need each other, friends. We need each other. All right. They're promoting being a homemaker, and sometimes some of them are promoting sensuality, just putting it out there. But the overall is hey, be a home and just be a wife, be a woman. Okay. But there is pushback, heavy, venomous concern, complaints, fear, hate. There is some haterade being drunk, guzzled down by the gallons. There is some venomous speech being spewed and spit online. There is some warnings being given. Many of women are like, get out of here. Not gonna be a slave to some man in some kitchen in some house that I can't leave. I can do more than fold clothes. How the enemy has worked on both sides of this question. On the male side and on the female side, the enemy has done a work in the human mind and heart to try to turn marriage and to make marriage into something insufferable, something of pain. Something that we've changed what it operates and looks like, so we just can't even tolerate it. Where we begin to despise it because of the actions of the human participants. We are just not everybody feels like this, but it's out here and it's being transmitted over the airwaves, over the Wi-Fi. You know the prince of the air. You know how he works. Now here's some of the statements I researched from the trad wives who say, man, I did that for a while. Worst thing I ever did. Can you believe that? Somebody says the worst thing I ever did was be a trad wife, to be a traditional stay-at-home mom. That was terrible. This is a real complaint I'm about to give you. This is a real complaint I'm about to give you right now. Real legit complaint, friends. That being, your husband, listen to this, friends, your husband will have authority over you. Like, this is a real complaint being had, tears in the eyes. Oh, your husband will have authority over you. God forbid. Heaven, no. Just no. Beloved, let me say something to you. Our employers have authority over us to a greater or lesser degree, right? Like your employer is telling you, ladies, what time to be at work, what time your shift ends, what you're going to do while you're at work. Work on this first, do that next, carry this, lift that, fill out this form, do this, process this thing first. And you say, okay, sir. Yes, sir. So as long as you're being compensated with paper, you have no problem surrendering authority, which yields you no return other than that paper every week or bi-weekly. Because the moment your employer gets down to the bottom line and says, you got to go, there's no, oh, we love you so much, we're going to keep you. You're out of there. And you could be there 10, 20, 30 years, okay, in said profession, said skill set, and now you've got to relocate, maybe pick up and move, and your whole life is in shambles, a little similar to a divorce. So I'm just saying, when a concern is your husband has authority over you. Yeah, people in life, people will have authority over you, friends. Come on, we got to do a little better than that. But nevertheless, another concern, my value from the ex-trad wives, my value was limited to how pretty I was, to what I could do in the kitchen, in the bedroom. That's all my value was. Now, let me put something, insert something right here. Listen, man, y'all, a lot of folks is married to the wrong people. Can we just put that out there? Can we get that into the record this episode? Y'all just marrying the wrong people, friends. And you're having bad experiences because you're married to the wrong person. And now you are throwing the baby out with the bathwater and saying, ixnay on the marriage, but it's like, no, you married the wrong person, You did bad selection. Bad selection process. And now you salty, you hurt, you harmed, and bringing back a bad report for everyone else. Do better. Pick better. Okay? But that was a complaint. Listen, no man, no husband is going to value his wife solely on her beauty, what she can do in the kitchen or not in the kitchen, and in and out of the bedroom. Next complaint. Lost their identity in their husbands. Like couldn't remember what they even liked to eat because they were always worried about preparing his favorite meals. And, they know their colors. They like just lost themselves, completely consumed in their husband. Now, listen, this should not happen. You should not, a married couple, they are still two individuals that come together and their identities should not be swallowed up and disappear. But they are becoming one flesh. They are becoming this new person together. Let us not overlook that, okay? So there is some of you that is going to be assimilated with your partner, but your preferences, your desires, your needs, your likes should not be vetoed and come off the table. Listen, I know men like this exist. I know they do. I know wives like this exist. But those are the wrong people who are not considerate of what their spouse wants to do and what their spouse likes. Again, that's a bad person. No, I'm going to say bad person. That's a person who needs growth, who needs to be able to see outside of themselves. Come on. Learn to think beyond themselves and actually care, have empathy and love and good communication for their spouse. So it's not like everybody comes out of some box. Every spouse comes out of some prepackaged box ready to go at 100% perfect. No, you're more than likely going to marry somebody, unfortunately, broken. Maybe who didn't have two parents, who didn't have marriage modeled before them. And now you're like upset, like, man, why am I feel like I'm being mistreated in this marriage? Because your spouse needs work. And so if you marry someone who's not willing to work on themselves or is not willing to recognize that they need to be worked on or see where they're falling short and make the changes, you are in for a rough, rocky ride. But I don't think that means, being a traditional wife or husband now is somehow bad or evil because the persons involved are doing a poor job. All right, the fear of being left penniless with no education and no work experience after X years of being married and raising children. Now, this is a legitimate concern. When I say I saw these comments all over the place, let me give you an example of one. Okay? Someone posted, my brother dumped his trad wife, his traditional wife, after 24 years. He is traveling the globe with wife number 2. Wife 1 had to move in with her dad at 47. Wicked. Wicked. I am not co-signing. Nobody should be co-signing that. That is terrible. That is a problem. But nevertheless, this now with these, you will find, comment after comment of women. I'm assuming, I'm going to take everyone at face value. I'm assuming no one is lying and making stuff up. Because sometimes, I think I heard, but let's just say there's more, there was a lot more testimonies like this I ran into. It's like, yeah, it was myself that it happened to. But they don't always state who left who. And this is important to some degree because 70% of divorces are filed by women. So it's kind of, all right, well, you didn't try to do anything to cushion your fall in the separation. You chose to get divorced. So it's kind of like, well, you kind of stepped into that arena. Now, of course, this is apart from abuse, etc., that goes on. I get it. But let's just, that's an important piece of information if you're going to start to complain and say, oh, being a trad wife is out because you're going to get left in 24 years. Well, if you left, that's slightly different, potentially. Nevertheless, this brother here who dumped his trad wife after 24 years, left her high and dry, and was now traveling the globe with someone that was the second wife. I even saw another post. He left his wife for like a 20-year-old after, 20-something odd years of being married. Listen, man, God is real. The judgment is real. Evil will not go unpunished, friends. You make a covenant with your words. You tell someone, you give somebody your word, heaven is watching. It's being recorded. Let's stop playing games. I am not co-signing deadbeat dads. I'm not co-signing men that break, or women for that matter, deadbeat moms, wives that just leave, file for divorce just because, I'm bored. I'm bored now. I'm out later. Don't care if I jack up the kids, jack up my husband. Like this door swings both ways. So it's interesting when the women, and sometimes they're feminist women, are making this argument. Oh no, don't you ever get married? Don't become a trap. Don't you ever be a stay-at-home mom? Don't you ever? Because men are say, what? No, that door swings both ways. How about we actually man up as a society and start to tell people, hey man, no getting divorced. Cut it out. If you're going to get divorced, don't get married. If you don't know what it takes, it's easy. Slow down. Get yourself together. And that doesn't mean go have hot girl summers in the meantime. That doesn't mean go sleep around with every Tom, Dick, and Harry and every girl you can see. That doesn't mean we're going to South Beach to party. It means, man, work on yourself. Get yourself together to be a spouse. We promote all this lewd, debased, debaucherous culture, practices, music, partying, drinking, smoking, and then wonder why we can't stay married, why we can't be in healthy relationships. And then we blame the institution. It's crazy to me. Then we blame the institution. Okay? A fear, a concern is with this trad wife trending movement is that trad wives are telling all women that their place in society is to be in service to her family, her husband, and they don't like this. They're saying no. When these young ladies post these videos, or even the 40-year-olds who are doing, when they post these videos promoting the trad wife, right, lifestyle, they're telling me that this is the only way to live. This is the only type of the woman. It's the only way I can operate. And I don't like that. So I'm scared. I want to shut it down. We must fight against this trend. Friends, let me ask you a question. What is a man's role in the marriage, right? Like, he's placed there to love his wife, to provide, to protect, to be a priest of the home. What if he just said, like, I don't want to, like, when a man doesn't do that, we call him a deadbeat. We call him a failure. We hold him accountable and say, man, you ain't a man. Like, You didn't want to take on the manly responsibilities you were supposed to. But when a woman doesn't take on the responsibilities, somehow we change it to like, oh, it was freedom now, or it was like, it's weird how we kind of, because double standards exist, right, on both sides of the sphere that houses the male and the female experience. But it's just like, well, everyone should be held equally accountable for everything that goes on in their decision-making process. Like when you want to give up, it's you giving up. When you don't want to work on it, that's you not wanting to work on it. You making your spouse, listen, you can make a marriage miserable as a man or a woman, as a husband or a wife. You can be the catalyst, the poison, the toxicity that exists in your marriage. And you need to mature. You need to grow up and realize that nobody went down the aisle saying, oh, I can't wait to be miserable with you. No, friends. Nobody's signing up for, I can't wait to be married and be miserable. Come on, friends. We've got to do better, okay? I'm just saying it is a man's job to be in service to his family, okay? So this idea that some women are saying, oh my goodness, like serve my man? Yes, because your man's supposed to be serving you. That service may work out slightly differently in practice, but the husband is serving his wife and his children as the wife should be serving her husband and her children. Everybody's serving, right? I think there's an idea because of some imbalanced, selfish men out there that marriage is supposed to turn to this, you do whatever I say, you serve me all the time, and we never tend to your needs. You're the woman, be quiet. That is what is taken away, I think, in a lot of modern minds today when they think about marriage. But that's the wrong person. That person shouldn't be married. That person should probably die alone. Okay? Let's just keep it real. That person should probably die alone. Shouldn't be out there hurting and making people's lives miserable, right? And if that person, husband or wife, I'm talking about the men right now, if you can't man up and realize that being a man is not being a dictator, but a leader, leading by example, dying to self, giving yourself for the church, for your wife, like Christ gave himself for his church, you have no business being married, man. Let me talk to you. And I got married young, man. There's a lot I didn't know. I was baptized the day before I got married. I messed up a lot. But by the grace of God, I was willing to make changes. Sometimes, it was a little unwilling, but I was praying. Brother, let me talk to you. I was praying, brethren. Sometimes we could be stubborn, male or female. We could be stubborn, stiff-necked, unwilling to change. And the only person that can change you is God. Only way that's going to happen by praying, reading, getting alone with the Holy Ghost, and God telling you how terrible a person you are and how he can give you the power to change, to go through a metamorphosis. You in a bad relationship and you trying to fix it, listen, beyond your human ability, which is not much at all, if nothing, you need divine aid. You need divine aid. If you think you're entering a marriage and you are perfect and you've got it all together and everything you say is always right, you're the perfect husband or you're the perfect wife, can't nobody tell you nothing, yeah, this is why your marriage is miserable right now. That's why. That is why. When a woman born, bared your children, giving birth to your seed, come on, sacrificing herself for your family, who come? It's God and then her, in that order, beloved. It's God and then her. Come on. This is the problem we have out here. We don't know the order of things, man. We putting everything else before our spouse. Only thing comes before your spouse is God. That's it. God, then spouse. In that order. Every time. Every time in that order. That's why people don't like being married, man. It's out of order. Out of order. Heart somewhere else. Mind somewhere else. Thoughts somewhere else. Out of order. We got to do better, friends. We've got to do better. Everybody wants to be treated like an adult, be treated like I'm a grown man, I'm a grown woman. Well, then act like it. You grown, then act grown. You mature, then be mature. Lower your voice. Stop yelling. Stop being emotional. Stop breaking down. Be in control of your emotions. Yeah, and if you can't, this is why you need God. Yeah. You got to get back to the owner's manual. Say, Lord, I see my brokenness, man. I'm a mess. I can't communicate correctly. I'm all over the place. I'm all emotional, male and female alike. Hello. You got to go to the source, man, of healing. Okay. All right. So how do we mitigate the risks that obviously is associated with marriage? Okay. You could end up penniless. You could end up broken, divorced, no education. It could just be a mess. Okay. I don't want to overlook this. I don't want to downplay it and say, oh, women don't be worried about that. Just what a man says he's going to do, he's going to do. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, right. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it should be. That's how it needs to be. But there's risk in love. There's risk in love. First way to mitigate that risk is to do your relationship, to do your marriage, to do your courtship per the owner's manual. That's my first set of advice for you. Step one. Don't enter these relationships the way the world does. Do it per the owner's manual. Stop marrying people that you don't have nothing in common with, that you don't have the same moral values, the same moral landscape. You don't have the same expression of faith. You did nothing. All over the place. Not the same religion, faith, denomination, nothing, and you getting married. What are you doing? Don't even know these people. Having intercourse with people you don't know and potentially getting pregnant is dumb. It's dumb. It's not wise. It's not prudent, not smart. It is bad decision making. It is a risk where the cost outweighs the pleasure. Gonna ruin your life for an orgasm. Then you go down to the clinic and take a life for, come on, man. Come on, self-control. In other words, allow the owner's manual to lead you to the right person. Right person. This is the largest decision you will make in your life next to choosing Christ. This is the largest decision. Even everyone who's been divorced or gotten out of a bad, man, they still broken, they still jacked up, man, they still messed up, a lot of them. Because it has that type of impact on you. Stop getting with the wrong people. Now, here's what it's supposed to look like, all right? Here's how ladies, listen up, ladies. Here's how you should mitigate risk. I'm going to read you 2 posts that I found online. Okay. Trad wife here. Raised and homeschooled my 5 children. They are now grown. My husband is a gym. I control our finances. I have my own accounts and investments. We are just fine. Well, now sounds like she married the right person. Oh. A man who has no problem. Hey, man, there's full transparency, not hiding nothing. Trust her 100%. She trusts him 100%. Listen, when I was married, my wife and I, we had one account. It's right down the middle. If we was broke together. If we was rich together. Has her own accounts and her own investments. We are just fine. Okay? That was Tara Hammond that said that. Then Marguerite, she says this. This is why I say they think we are oppressed as trad wives, she means. My husband has no clue what he earns. And everything is in my name. Mom of 7 and Oma of 5. It's about the person, friends. It's about the spouse you marry. It's not about being a trad wife or not. It's about what you got going on in your heart. If you want to be a mother, if you want to be a wife, and then actually being with a husband who has your long-term interest in mind, for real. Listen, you start college at 17, 18 years old, right? You finish up 4 to 5 years, just to say one example. Then you end up getting married. So you meet somebody at college, you get married when you're done. And then let's say you work for 2 years, ladies. And then you start having kids. Like, you'll have work experience. You can have a degree or a trade. You can go out into the world for a little while. And then you could be back, boom, now raising babies. Now you can come and be a trad wife. Possible solution for you. If you can handle the temptation of making that money. But nevertheless, if we're concerned about being penniless, having nothing on our resume, right? That was another concern, that I have no experience, no work experience. Well, go work for a year, go work for 2 years. I'm just saying there's different ways to do it because, listen, families in this modern world are different. My wife and I, we didn't have any children, right? We both worked. So I split some of the inside house duties with her just out of practical respect. Like we both coming home from work tired every day. Like, yo, I'm not expecting my wife to cook every day. Right? There was some things I still just did as the man. There was some things she just did as the woman. You know? I think when I got married, I never touched clothes. I stopped folding clothes. I knew how to do it. I could do it, but that was something responsibility she picked up. Hopping with the dishes, like my families are different. Like sometimes, like in my case, you get married at different ages. You can and cannot have children. You cannot even be able to have children. I mean, there's so many different dynamics to a relationship that I don't think every marriage is identical. Some folks that are married are be overseas, and maybe they're involved in missions. Some will be local in the States. Some will be on the farm. Some will be. I mean, so there's some level of variation that there's going to be with every marriage. But I think the idea of knowing that you are secure, short term and long term, in your marriage and in this relationship is something that security that everybody wants to have to ease their mind, right? CBSNews.com reported this. Here's why I'm saying this is important. We are up, listen, friends, we are up against some hard times, man. Marriage is under fire, friends. Marriage is under fire. Here's why I'm saying this. CBSNews.com reported, okay, here's how much you need to earn to live comfortably in major U.S. cities. If you want to live comfortably in any of America's largest cities, it will come at a high price, according to the new study. An individual must earn $96,500 a year before taxes to afford housing, groceries, transportation, and entertainment, while also paying off debt and putting some money into savings. Okay? According to a smart asset report. You've got to earn almost $100,000 to live in it before taxes. Okay? A two-parent household supporting two children needs a combined $235,000 to live comfortably before taxes. Friends, if you don't know, most people ain't making that. Okay? The latest data from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, when this article was published, found that the typical American makes between $62,000 and $73,000 a year. We're falling a little short there. Okay, that's like 20 plus thousand short. 30 if you're on the low end. One estimate found that the median U.S. household income is $77,397. If you live in a rural area, it's about 6% cheaper. So you're going to need about $220,000. Listen, friends. The average American is not making this type of money to be able to support it. So now you're almost in a lot of situations, if you're not able to live very frugally, if you're not really able to budget and really manage your money well, you're both working. This goes back to marrying the right person. You don't need to marry someone who can't save money. You don't need to marry somebody who's got to spend thousands of dollars on makeup and thousands of dollars on cars and hobbies that you can't afford. That you just can't afford, friends. This falls back on us. We're choosing the wrong people. We're not responsible, and we have no idea what we're up against a lot of times. This is a real world, man. This is not the 1800s. This is not the 1700s. Okay, it's different. Long gone are the days where most Americans could have one person work outside of the home. So we've got to adjust. We've got to have some real discussions. The nuclear family is being destroyed, friends, right before our eyes through various means. But finances is one of them. Emotional instability is another one. Mental health is another one. Infidelity is another one. Okay? Friends, if we're both working, killing ourselves, then who's raising our children and educating our children? I know, it's sacrifice. We decided to have a family, right? We laid down and made a family. How can we not be willing to sacrifice for the family? That means we have to love each other, be willing to communicate with each other. It's not always about what I want, me, my way, or the highway. Christ willingly submitted to the Father, and the Father, listen, a leader is not an abuser. A leader is not a dictator. A leader is appointed, loved, trusted, and is always going to make the best decision for his family, for everybody in his family. Divorce. What happens to our children when we get divorced? So we don't put all this into, we'll be all right, I'll do whatever I want. All right. Reports say that divorce can have a significant impact on the child's development because we think divorce is an option. You know what I mean? Like same way we'll use abortion as birth control. We'll use divorce as the get out of jail free card. Like, so versus doing the pre-work, the work up front, I think it'll be all right. Put your finger. Yeah, the wind's blowing by. Okay. If it don't work out, I'm out. Okay. Divorce can have a significant impact on a child's development, including their mental health, behavior, and academic performance. Children of divorced parents are more likely to experience mental health issues like anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. They may also feel a sense of loss of control, fear, abandonment, and have increased feelings of guilt, shame, and helplessness. Behaviorally speaking, divorce can lead to behavior problems like delinquency, impulsive behavior, and conduct disorders. Children may also engage in risky behaviors like using drugs, becoming violent, or having poor health. Academic performance is going to go down as well. Divorce can disrupt a child's academic performance because they may be confused and distracted by the changes going on in the back of their home, right? This can make it hard for them to concentrate. Friends, I don't know when North and Western civilization is going to understand that this marriage thing is not a joke. It's not fun and games. And if you're the husband, God have mercy on you if you're making your family miserable, your wife and your children miserable. If you're the wife, God forbid, God help you, if you're disagreeable, argumentative, not willing to submit and making your life miserable and then filing for divorce. 70% of women file for divorce, 30% of men file for divorce. And now we have this data out in front of us too. We know this is going to destroy our family, our kids, each other. We know it. I can't say it enough, man. Slow down and speed up. Just don't go marry anybody. I know the biological clock, I know it's ticking, it's thumping. If you don't have children yet, just slow down. You don't want to get this. You can't afford to get this wrong. You can't afford to get this wrong. The fallout is everlasting. All right, friends. How is the trad wife described in the owner's manual? Okay. And let me say this before we just peel that back. I want to repeat this again. Cheating has to stop. Infidelity has to stop. We have to keep our pants up and pull our skirts down. This is unacceptable behavior, and it seems like it's so normalized in popular culture, in songs, in movies, on blogs, on these reality. Like, listen, cheating is not all right, friends. Not okay. Man, listen, back in the day, folks got stoned over that activity. It has to stop. If you're going to cheat, do not get married. And that's not me saying, oh, go fornicate, go sleep around. No, that means you're going to be celibate. Just relax. This has to stop. It has to stop, friends. We need to hold each other accountable. You got a friend. Let me talk to y'all. Some of y'all got friends that are cheating on their spouses and you co-signing it. You think it's cute. You got girlfriends, guy friends. You ain't saying nothing, not holding them morally accountable. Friends, this is a judgment. And you as a person, how can you live in a society where someone's telling you you made a promise to somebody, oh, it's just me and you, we're in a monogamous relationship, I love you, blah, 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 and they get no accountability from family, friends. You can't be, listen. I remember when I was dating my wife before we got married, I was living with my grandmother at the time, and I had it was like around college. I was about to graduate from college. And another young lady called my grandmother's house looking for me. Yo, my grandmother had a little talk with me, like, grandson, where we do this at? Like, I don't like, face turned up. She didn't know the detail. She didn't know why this call was happening. She was shutting that down, like, hey, man, make sure nobody call here. Look, like, what's this? I had to get myself reality check. Let me realign. Okay, appearance of evil. That's what we don't have anymore. We don't have accountability anymore in our culture, our society. All this, just do what you want. Don't judge me. Oh, that's critical. Oh, you're being mean. Like, no, we need to hold each other accountable. Like, you You're doing something that's destroying your own health, listen, if families are not good, none of us are good. Look at mental illness, drugs, mental illness. We don't have the resources to govern an immoral society, friends. We can't afford for our friends' marriages to be falling apart. As a culture, as a people, as North Americans, we have to do better, man. We can't. Immorality is killing us. But we can never agree on what's right and what's wrong. That's the other problem we have. Oh, well, what's good for you, whatever you want. Yeah, look around, friends. Our children are jacked up, cutting themselves on antidepressant drugs. They're messed up, friends, from all these divorces and all this neglect. Our kids are jacked up. We need to take responsibility. Look ourselves in the mirror and say, man, we did this. My kids are messed up because of me. My society, my neighborhood's messed up because of me. And I get it. I know there's other factors. I can hear other people, the government, this, that, and the third, politics, slavery, this, the list goes on. Listen, man, enough with the excuses. We need to start governing ourselves accordingly. The trad wife, as described in the owner's manual, Proverbs 31. We've covered this before here on this at No Pills. But just for clarity, for those who haven't heard it, okay? How does the Bible describe a trad wife? Because a lot of times, see, they think trad wife is oppression. Oh, means you got to be a slave. You got to be stupid, not have your own brain, your own thoughts. That is a lie. That is not true. Let me read it to you. Proverbs 31, beginning in verse 10. And who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. There we go. The heart of her husband doeth safely trust in her. Preach. So that he shall have no need of spoil, won't have need of another person. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. Why would you cheat on a person like this? Come on, men. Why would you cheat on a virtuous woman, on a traditional wife? Why would you do that? No, you can safely trust in her so that you shall have no need of spoil. You'll have no need of spoil. You will be fully content and fulfilled in your marriage chambers, in your marriage relationship. She will do you good and not evil all the days of her life. Man, you cherish this woman. You don't cheat on her. She worketh willingly with her hands. Okay. She bringeth her food from afar. All right. She riseth also while it is yet night and giveth food to her household and a portion to her maidens. She manages a team. She doesn't think it's below her, beneath her to feed her children. The same children she breastfed. She counts it a privilege to make sure their bellies are full, that they're growing up into strong men and women because they're eating from the palms of her hands, from the sweat of her brow. This is a real woman. She considereth a field. What? And buyeth it. She knows real estate. With the fruit of her hand, she planteth a vineyard. She's a gardener. Her loins are girt with strength. Come on. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. This woman is intelligent. Her candle goeth not out by night. What? She layeth her hands to the spindle. She's a seamstress. She takes care. Oh, listen. She's a medic. She's an accountant. She's faithful. She's not a gossip. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Help us, friends. She's not scared of the winter because her family is clothed. They wear kingly garments, purple and scarlet. Her husband is known amongst the people in the community and online. She doesn't bring any shame to her family's name. She's not running around naked online, friends. Verse 26, she openeth her mouth in wisdom, in her tongue is the law of kindness. Not loud, not masculine, not obnoxious, but in her mouth is wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh after her entire household, friends. She's not an idle person. She does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her. Goodness gracious. Favor is deceitful. This woman knows that favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. This is a trad wife, a virtuous woman. She knows that favor is deceitful. The likes online, deceitful. The comments, deceitful. The views, deceitful. And beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth Yahweh, that feareth God, come on, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. Should every woman be a trad wife? Yes. If she can marry a trad husband who will do more than say, I love you and promise to take care of you, but turn those words into tangible plans. Let me say it this way, because I want to clarify the if. As a woman, that's all you should do is be a woman. You should always be a mother. You should always be ready to be a mother, always ready to be a wife, always be a trad wife, always be a virtuous woman. That is just your mode full time. But you can express that only, right, safely, only, securely in a traditional marriage where a husband will do more than just say he loves you and is going to take care of you, but actually put things in place to make sure that you're taken care of even in the light of his passing or his death or his demise. I'm Gordon McGee. This is No Pills. Love Fully Scripted. And I will catch you next week.